I'm Mrs Skulls and I'm a teaching assistant in reception.
Hi, I'm Miss Applebeck. I'm a teacher in reception.
Hi, I'm Miss Thurston. I'm a teaching assistant in reception.
Hi, I'm Mrs Gilbertson, the Emotional Health and Wellbeing Manager at Morley Victoria.
Hi everyone, welcome to Morley Victoria. We're really pleased that you're coming to join us in September. I'm Mrs Britton, I'm one of 2 head teachers in school.
And I'm Mrs Rudd, I'm the other head teacher, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Hi, welcome to our reception parents meeting for children joining us in September 2020. We normally do our meeting in school, but obviously the circumstances at the moment mean that we can't do this safely. So we've decided to make a video for you to find out some information about reception before your child joins us. And we'll just run through the PowerPoint now. So here we have all the members of staff who work in our reception team. We've got Mrs Maybank just at the left there, that's me. I'm one of the reception teachers and I'm also the early years manager. And we've got Mrs Skulls who works in my class alongside me, who's a HLTA, and Mrs White, who's a TA. And then we've got one of our co-head teachers, Mrs Britton, Mrs Gilbertson, who is our health and wellbeing manager, Mrs Wood, who is our other co-head teacher, and Miss Thurston, who works in Miss Applebeck's class.
She works with me, she's my teaching assistant.
And Miss Applebeck,
That's me,
who is the other reception teacher. So now you've met us all. Here we are with our titles here. We'll just run through a little bit about how our reception works. So we've got 2 classes of 30. And we're very lucky because we've got 2 classrooms up in the reception building. We've also got a shared classroom which we can use as well. And we've also got an outside area at the front and an outside area at the back. Now, if you haven't been to our building, the reception classrooms, you can't see them from the road. They're set further back up at the top. They're in 2 Portakabin buildings.
Nice big and blue, so you can't
blue.
miss us.
Can't miss us.
So you should have all received your information packs now. I've got lots of information about schooling as well. And there's some information in there for you to return about sort of your health records and your contact information, so that we've got all of those things in place when your child joins us in school. And it's got all the information you'll need, and there's a deadline for the 26th of June, so if you can make sure we have it all by then so we can get our information sorted, that would be fab.
So we would normally do home visits or initial face-to-face visits before your child starts school. That's just to introduce ourselves and to get used to you to get familiar with us and get to meet us before you start school in September. But obviously this year it might be slightly different. We do want to meet you all before you come into school, but we're going to have some meetings that will take place at the beginning of September. And we'll follow this up with the most up-to-date guidance regarding social distancing and making sure that we're following all the advice that's out at the moment. So once these meetings have taken place, the classes will then be organised. So we'll divide the children into 2 classes of 30, and we'll communicate with the families, so you know which teacher you'll be having and which class you'll be in, and then you'll know where you'll be coming when you start in reception.
So transition to school. So we want to make sure that all the children are feeling safe and happy and secure when they join us, and preparing them for this next stage in their education is really important. So we will be at the start of the year obviously getting to meet you, like Mrs Maybank just said, and sort of introducing your children to the setting, to the different staff that will be working in the building, and getting used to where they come and everywhere to make it nice and smooth for them. Obviously we would have normally done that in the summer. They would have got to come and see the classrooms and meet us and spend some time with us before the summer break, but because that won't happen, we will do that more slowly sort of at the beginning of September, when we know sort of what sort of how we're going to be able to do that with everything, with all the guidance that will come. But we'll make sure that it's a nice steady start, not too much too soon. We're planning to have some stay in play sessions as well, so that you can come in with your children to see the setting and spend a bit more time here as well, which is something extra that we're putting in place this year to sort of help them settle, with everything being a little bit different this year. And then obviously they'll get to see all the different rooms that we might be going into. So my classroom, the shared room, Mrs. Maybank's classroom, so that then when they find out which teacher they're having, they then will know and they'll have been there, so that they are familiar with those rooms.
So we do have a school uniform at Morley Victoria. It's a white polo shirt or shirt, just hold up, and you can get those with the school logo on in the corner, or you can just get plain ones. With a navy blue sweatshirt or cardigan, and again with the school logo or without, or just plain one, and there's a cardigan. And then we have navy blue, grey or black trousers or skirts. And with tights, you can wear navy blue, grey, black or white. And in warmer weather, we do allow the children to wear navy blue, grey or black shorts, or the blue and white checked or striped school dresses that you can get. In reception, there's lots of fun messy activities that are on offer for the children. There'll be lots of materials and resources for them to be using. So we do offer aprons for the children to wear, but sometimes they will come home with paint and things like that on them. So we do use washable paint, but please don't worry if it stains. We want the children to get the most out of their experience in school, and that it involves getting fully involved with all the activities on offer.
Shows they've been having fun.
Shows they've been having fun, and we go home with glitter and all sorts on us, don't we, Miss?
Paint in our hair.
So we ask that the children wear flat black sensible shoes. This is for safety reasons. Obviously we spend a lot of time outside, so the children will be having access to climbing equipment and gross motor activities, so we want them to be able to move as sort of safely as possible. And we will need seasonal appropriate coats. So obviously in winter it'll be thicker, warmer, because the children will be going out in all weathers, and then in summer they will need a sort of thinner raincoat. Uniform can be purchased from high street stores. Sweatshirts, polo shirts or cardigans with Morley Victoria logo on can be bought from the Uniform Centre, which is in Morley Town Centre.
So when your child starts at school, they'll need to bring some different things with them. So we have their book wallets. So they don't have the big long strap on, they just have a little handle, and they're great because they fit in the children's trays that we have sort of in the classrooms, and we keep their books in there and any letters and things that we need to send home, and they're a nice handy size to fit in their drawers, so they're really good to have. Then PE, we have it on, we're not 100% sure yet which day of the week it'll be, we'll be able to communicate that with you, but it's one day a week. They come in their school uniform, bring their PE things with them, so we've got the shorts, their t-shirt, and jogging bottoms and hoodies and things for winter in the navy blue and the white as well if possible. And they bring them in their PE bag, and we get changed into them at school, because part of their learning is being able to get themselves changed and unchanged independently, so that's something you could be practicing at home in the summer holidays. And then a water bottle as well, preferably with their name on, because we do end up with quite a lot of similar ones and then getting confused and things like that, so labelled would be great, and having it every day so we can encourage them to drink lots and lots of water. And we do ask that it is water inside the bottles rather than juice or pop or other things in there.
So we do have a daily routine in reception, just to sort of encourage independence and get that sense of belonging, and knowing that, you know, that it's their routine and their sort of space and their classroom. So we want them to be able to put away their things by themselves, so things like hang up their coats, put their book wallets in their trays like Miss Mapplebeck said, put their water bottles on the shelf. So we want them to do as much of those things as possible when they come in. Then we have a self-registration system where the children come in, they might sign their names or practice some handwriting, just so they're sort of eased into the sort of early part of the day. Then there's a chance for you to talk to us and sort of hand the children over to us at the door. So if there's any information that you think we might need to know, if they haven't been, you know, if they've had a bad night or something's happened at home prior to coming to school, you can just let us know, so that we can obviously be aware of that. And then we have what's called child-initiated learning in the classroom. So the majority of our learning in reception is hands-on, sort of physical activities that children can actually move and take part in themselves. And these are set up via the different parts of the classroom. So you've seen on the video, you've had a little tour of the classroom. Lots of the activities are sort of set up to enable the children to access them in their own way. And then we have what's called adult-led learning. So these are tasks that we will ask the children to come and do with us. So we'll ask them to come and do things like reading with us, do some writing tasks, some maths tasks, and some all sorts of creative and other sorts of tasks as well. But these are tasks that we expect all of the children to do at some point during the week. So we ask that once children are settled in, parents help their children by encouraging them to come into the building by themselves. Obviously, with 60 children coming into the building, there's a lot of people at pick up and drop off time. So as soon as the children are sort of able to, we want them to sort of come in by themselves to get that independence.
And they get quite proud of themselves when they do that. Like,
and we can sort of wave at the door and wave through the windows as their adult drops them off. So that's
a nice
really nice
achievement for them, isn't it? So our classroom organisation. So to have a smooth transition from nursery, so children that have been to our school nursery or to other nursery settings, we try and have lots of similar type of activities, similar resources that they will have been familiar with in their nursery settings to help with that smooth transition. And we do have lots of those resources for the whole year, you know, very similar things that we will be using. We plan around the children's ideas and their interests and follow sort of things that they might want to learn a bit more about. We might go in a different direction with our learning to accommodate that for the children. We have lots of areas of provision which goes with the early years framework that we follow. So we've got such as a construction area where they can do their building. We've got, you know, lovely reading areas. We've got our creative areas for painting, maths areas, all sorts of different areas that stay there every week, but they have challenges or little activities in there, might change on a weekly basis, or, you know, more often or less often, depending on how the children are enjoying those and engaging with those at that time. And then we've got outdoor and indoor play as well. Like we've said, we've got lovely outdoor areas to access, so we have as much access to those outdoor areas as we can, and have outdoor learning experiences there as well. So in our front area we've got lots of lovely outdoor classroom resources as well, and then we've got more big large scale, so bikes and things on the playground where we need more room. So we've got lots of different ways of learning. We have structured play as well as following their own interests as well. So we might set up little activities in the play areas each week. So we might set up a little challenge in the play-doh area. Can you make this character or this animal out of Play-Doh, but then also they can make whatever they want to out of the Play-Doh. So there's different ways that they can learn, along with the adult-led activities as well.
So lunches are served in the classroom and main meal choices are filled in by you at home with your child, so you can talk about, you'll have the menus in advance, so you'll be able to talk about possible choices, whether the children are used to those at home, and whether they might like them. Dessert is set by the day with fresh fruit available as well. So meals must be ordered in advance and you can actually block book them. So a tongue twister. So you can have them for the next few weeks, so you don't have to keep adding them on every day. You can sort of book them for a few weeks. And we just ask you to just check after the holidays if you've ordered for your child coming back to school, because sometimes at the holiday that can be a point where the block's finished, so we're not sure if it's been ordered for that day.
So the areas of learning that we follow in the early years foundation stage, we've got the prime areas of learning and the specific areas of learning. The prime areas, there's three. There's their personal, social and emotional development, then there's their communication and language skills, and then their physical development. So their big physical movements and their fine motor physical development as well, and that also includes their health and self-care, so toileting and looking after and dressing themselves and things. So the prime areas are the ones that we focus on first, so we've got to really make sure that those are in place and the children are developing well in those areas before they then are ready to look at the specific areas, so their literacy, their maths, their understanding of the world and their expressive arts and design. So their prime areas will have been focused on a lot in the nursery experience as well as specific, and they're the areas that we cover in lots of different ways through our adult tasks and through their play in our provision.
And we'll be having a curriculum evening early on in the autumn term with some more information about specific things that we'll be teaching within those areas.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Coronavirus allowing.
Yeah. Oh, there'll be more information to follow.
Definitely.
So we have online profiles at Morley Victoria. So we have what we call tapestry journals, which are journals that you can access online, and it basically documents your child's journey as they come through reception and their learning journey and the things they've been doing. And it's a really great resource because you can add videos on there, photographs and commentary about what your child's been doing, and also link it to the different areas of the curriculum that Miss Mapplebeck just explained. And it also has a tool for you to reply and respond and add things on that you've noticed at home that the children have been doing. So it's a really collaborative tool that we can all use to sort of document your child's learning journey, and they're really special. So there'll be more information when your child starts about how you'll be able to log into those journals and what you'll be able to see.
And we love it when parents put their own observations on from things, especially with everything going on at the moment. It's been a really great way of communicating with what the children are doing at home with yourselves, and so that we can see what they're doing. And I know the children, when they've done things at home, they might put it up over the weekend. We can share it with the other children by putting it on the screen, and it's something nice for the children to talk about and to use their communication and language skills. So we really love it when you do that at home, so we'd really encourage that.
Super.
So we have a Twitter as well. So our handle, is it called, is MV_reception, and on there, because we have Tapestry as well, Tapestry will put on the more personal things for your child's individual learning, whereas on Twitter we might put on things we've been doing as a class, or whole class activities or challenges that we've been doing, just so you can keep sort of on track with what we've been up to in school.
And we've also got the school website, which has got lots of information on there. It's kept up to date really well, so that if there's anything that's changed or new, there'll be information on there, and you can see the subsections there. There's lots of things for you as parents and carers to explore, to learn a lot more about our school, so there's lots of useful resources on there.
So if you have any questions after seeing the presentation and after looking at your welcome packs, there is the email address, which is office@morleyvictoria.org.uk if you have any questions or want to get in contact. And we've also got the school phone number, and that is still being answered at the moment. It's just been redirected, and that's 013 2535 253 if you've got any questions. And then we're really looking forward to meeting you in person at some point soon.